What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Revival. My name is JJ. We've come to that time. The final episode of my Super Nintendo collection. We're talking boxed games today. So, let's get to it. Okay, so not a ton of these, and 1, 2, 3 of them are like repros slash ROM hacks. So just keep that in mind. But a few of these are like the authentic, the real thing. I would love to have a copy of Final Fantasy II. That is the #1 next thing that I want. That and Secret of Mana. Both of those I need boxes for. I mean, I'd love to get Earthbound too, don't get me wrong. But as far as nostalgia goes, and just because I love the box art and the way it looks and everything, definitely Final Fantasy II. So at some point, hopefully, I have the instructions for it, I just don't have the box. So fingers crossed that I can find that at some point. But starting off is a game that I have. The cartridge itself isn't in the best of shape. The back of it is ripped up a little bit, but the front, thankfully, looks good. It looks just like the box itself, and that is Lufia. The box is in great condition. And I'm so happy about that because, God, I love this box art. I remember seeing it before I bought this in a rental store nearby. I think it's called like Front Row Video or something like that. And I always wanted to rent it, but it was always being rented out every time I went there. There was one time when I finally got it and I played it and I was like, oh my, this is exactly what I want. It's just like a fun adventure where you're just getting characters and grinding and going through, and I love this game so much. It's so basic. There's nothing like mind-blowing or spectacular that's gonna be like, no game has done this before, oh my god. But man, it's such a beautiful game to look at. The aesthetics in this are just so good. And I mean, you can tell that just from the box art. I never get tired of looking at the box art on this. It's so beautiful. So that's the first one up, and that's Lufia and the Fortress of Doom. Yeah. And these all have the instructions and they're complete box and all that stuff. Next up is a game I got from, I mean, I had the game already, but my buddy Brian from the Frozen North, his brother, I think I mentioned this in a pickups video that I did, where I talked about it, but his brother was getting rid of some of his older games, and this is one of the ones I got from him, the box at least. And that was Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. You know what, people might rag on this just because of how it came about. If you don't know, Mystic Quest was basically like Japan's introduction for the US to JRPGs. They were basically just like, the games we make are a little hard for you guys, so we're going to dumb it down for you. And that's where this came into play. There are a lot of people who really enjoy this game. Honestly, because it said Final Fantasy, I picked it up. I remember getting the used copy. I was in there and I was like, I've never even heard of this, but it says Final Fantasy on it. It's a Squaresoft game. I'm grabbing it. Got it home, played it. I was like, wow, this is really generic. This is like super just basic, but it's fun. And it's super short and it's really easy. And quite frankly, it is a really nice entry-level game. And I love the box art. I love the screenshots of these games on the back. It's just so pretty to look at. And man, they just don't make box art like this anymore. It's not fair. They definitely don't make box art like this anymore. This is great. Alright. Next. My favorite game of all time. I got this the last Retropalooza that we went to. Final Fantasy III. The box is in great condition. I just love this. I would love to get the red one to match it with Final Fantasy II, because man, this is, I was so thrilled when I got this. I remember getting it, and I was not walking around with Adrian and his wife Amy at the time, not walking around with them at the time. I think they were either like just coming in or we were just separated. But I ran into them after I had a bag of a few things, and this was in there. And he goes, "So did you get anything?" And I'm just like, I know I had this look on my face of like, so I was just so excited to finally have this in a box and for a decent price. I honestly don't even remember what I paid for it, but it was more than affordable, and I was just too blinded by how excited I was to finally have this. This game just means so much to me, and it's another one. I will never get tired of playing this. I could play it over and over and over and over and over again and be completely happy. I love the cast, I love the game, I love the adventure, I love the story, I love the combat, I love everything about it, and it's just so wonderful. If I were to ever get a tattoo, quite frankly, I don't have any, but if I were to ever get a tattoo, I think it would be a Mog right here. This little guy. I love this game so freaking much. So yeah, Final Fantasy III. So glad to have that box. Next is another one that is a ROM hack. Again, I got it off Etsy. This one actually came with a nice case and everything. It's again on Final Fantasy VI, 3, whatever. This one is the Eternal Crystals. From what I understand, this is a little bit more well known. And yeah, some of the new features include new playable characters, custom composed music, new sprites and portraits, new storyline events, new espers, new dungeons, new menus and font. Like it's a whole bunch of new stuff. And again, this is one that I want to try and I want to check out at some point. I just haven't yet. But I mean, even just looking at the bag, like I see like Cecil's freaking portrait in there from 2. So it's like I'm so curious as to what this is and what I can get out of it, because it just seems so neat. So definitely looking forward to checking that out at some point. I love that they put it in this really cool little box. So next is a repro. Again, I'm 99% sure I got this on Etsy as well. That's Terra Enigma. Definitely looking forward to playing this. I will more than likely be playing it next year and put it on my list of 20. Because I definitely want to try it. And I played the other 2 games in the Quintet trilogy, and I'm super excited to try this one, because I've heard nothing but just absolutely spectacular things about it. So definitely looking forward to it. It is a repro, but the box is in pristine condition. It looks beautiful, and I love staring at this stuff. I could do it all day. And then, I'll take this one, sure. This is not like a cardboard box like the others. It's just in a video case, and it's another ROM hack of Chrono Trigger Crimson Echoes. This is the unofficial sequel-ish kind of game that I've read about. Hadn't played it. Again, another one that I was just like, oh, it seems kind of neat, and I definitely want to check it out. Just because I love Chrono Trigger so much. If anybody knows anything about any of these ROM hacks that I've talked about, and I should definitely get into them as soon as possible, and let me know in the comments below, because I don't know a lot about them. The fact is, it's just me looking at it and being like, oh, it's got the title that I like that one, okay, and I buy it. And so but I would love to know more about them, and I definitely want to play them at some point. Man, there's so many games to play. But yeah, so Chrono Trigger Crimson Echoes, looking forward to that one for sure. And last, but certainly not least, is, I think, actually the first boxed NES or Super Nintendo game that I picked up ever. And that was only about 4 years ago, maybe, 4 years ago at Mo Game Con. And they just had it there, and I was like, it's an RPG on the Super Nintendo I don't have and haven't played, but it looks cool. I love the box. It's in great condition, and the guy, I want to say, only charged me like $25 for it. It wasn't expensive. That's why I picked it up, and that's Paladin's Quest. The graphics don't look like mind-blowing or anything like that, but the fact that it just is an RPG, again, and has that turn-based combat, and I love just looking at this box art. And I'm just super excited to try it out and give it a shot at some point. I really, really just love having these boxes and these games, and this is my favorite system ever. And have you played Paladin's Quest? Tell me if it's any good. because I want to play it. Yeah, so again, like I said, if anybody has an extra box for Final Fantasy II lying around, that would be fun if you wanted to send it my way. No, don't do that. No, but I'm just so happy that I have so many of these games that mean so much to me. Like I said in the very beginning, I love the Super Nintendo with all my heart. It is, again, gun to my head, probably my favorite system. I could make arguments for like the PS2 and stuff as well, but I love just the memories I have with this system. It was really when I was into the NES and I played games all the time on the Nintendo. But it wasn't until I got the Super Nintendo, because I think it was because the NES, when we had that, it was my dad's. My mom and I went out, and I remember buying it for him. Not me personally, but I was with my mom when she bought it for him. He didn't play it much because he didn't really care. But it was his console. I had some games for it and everything, so I played it all the time. But when I got the Super Nintendo, I could hook it up in my room on my little tiny 13-inch TV that I had. And it was all mine. It was just for me, and I got to play it and create memories, and I have so many with so many of these great games. And I just adore it for that reason. And this is the system that I would love to get as many boxed copies for. I mean, I want that for all my consoles, obviously. But I would love to get as many as I can. Like, first and foremost, this would be the boxed copy system that I would go for. Everything's just getting so dang expensive. It's insane. But yeah, I just love the Super Nintendo so much. It's so great. And I love having the SNES Classic that I can, throw these games on and play them and just experience them all over again. And so yeah, guys, tell me, what are some of your favorite Super Nintendo games? What am I missing? What have I not played that I need to get to right away? Tell me about these ROM hacks, if you've played any of them, if you've heard anything about them. Tell me what I need to get to, because I love hearing about that stuff, and I love talking to you guys. So please, by all means, let me know what's going on in your world, and what you think about my collection, and what could be different, and what I need to get to as soon as possible. With that, man, more collection stuff, huh? Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You know the drill. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you guys. And as always, keep on gaming.